I just don't know how to stay. Every talk turns into pressure, and I shut down trying to explain. It wasn't nothing, it was something, but I'm tired of feeling wrong. I'm not here to erase you, I just can't keep holding on.
So let me say it clean, without a fight.
But don't ask me for forever when I don't know where we are. If this is goodbye, I won't make it mean. I won't pretend September wasn't real. I can leave, but I'll do my part. I'll give you 1 hour with my heart. I needed closure, not a cut. I didn't know how to do it, so look at me. Don't make it smart. I'm looking sad. You deserve that. Her. Don't rush me. Just listen. I'm here.
You said my name like it was finished, like you already made your peace. I smiled like I was okay, but inside I couldn't breathe. Since September we've been building, so how you drop it overnight? I'm not here to make you stay, I just need one moment right. I'm not asking you to change, I'm asking you to be real.
Give me 1 hour with your heart,
1 honest minute in the dark.
Don't hand me, you'll be fine.
Like I'm easy to discard.
If this is goodbye,
don't make it cold,
don't make it quick,
don't lose control. You can leave, I won't fall apart, but don't abandon me. Give me 1 hour with your heart.
Go with it, yeah, yeah. I didn't mean to cut you like that, I just don't know how to stay. Every talk turns into pressure, and I shut down trying to explain. It wasn't nothing, it was something, but I'm tired of feeling wrong. I'm not here to erase you, I just can't keep holding on.
So let me say it clean, without a fight.
But don't ask me for forever when I don't know where we are. If this is goodbye, I won't make it mean. I won't pretend September wasn't real. I can leave, but I'll do my part. I'll give you 1 hour with my heart.
I needed closure, not a cut.
I didn't know how to do it, so
look at me.
Don't make it smart.
I'm looking sad.
Don't
that.
Her. Don't rush me. Just listen.
Yeah. You know what time it is. Little black book. Sometimes love comes in the most unexpected places. I didn't even see it coming till I looked again.
Late night, I'm in my bed again, thinking of your smile like medicine. It warms me, then it hurts me too, cause I can't be where you are, can't get close to you. When I think of you, my chest get loud. Joy so big, I can't say it out. So I sit with it, let it rise, like a wave that fills my eyes. Should a man feel love like this? Now I get why love don't miss. God gave us something for us, you'll understand why I give it up. I don't know how you did it so quiet. But something sleeping in me came alive. Friends was never on the table, cause loving you felt like the impossible kind. Love at first sight, on a second glance. Didn't see it coming, didn't stand a chance. Love at first sight, on a second glance. Now you're in my system, now you're in my plans. I look again and I felt everything. One more look and you change everything. Love at first sight, on a second glance. Yeah, it was love at first sight, on a second glance. Thought I was invincible, I won't lie. Thought I could play forever just to love right by. Then you walked in and my whole world crashed. Now I'm stuck in the moment that didn't pass. The way you stood, so innocent, loving, caring, heaven sent. And my head said wait, but my body said go. No breaks, dance floor, then it got real still. Silence round us like a bubble thrill. That dark blue dress and the way you moved had me feeling exposed in the middle of the room. Two sets of eyes cut straight through my pride. I thought I was the man, then I felt like a child. Now I replay it over and over, like 1 second made my life turn over. Your love snuck up on me, no one inside. Like it was waiting in the dark, then it opened my eyes. And friends was never a possibility, no. Cause loving you, yeah, got a hold of me. Love at first sight, on the second glance. Didn't see it coming, didn't stand a chance. Love at first sight, on the second glance. Now you're in my system, now you're in my plans. I looked again and I felt everything. One more look and you change everything. Love at first sight, on the second glance. Yeah, it was love at first sight, on the second glance. Loving you broke me, then it healed me, shield me, build me. I thought I drove my life, but I lost the wheel lately. So what do I do when love is true? If I can't have you close while you live in my room, tell me you feel it too. Don't keep me guessing, cause I give myself just to keep you protected. Love at first sight, on the second glance. Didn't see it coming, didn't stand a chance. Love at first sight, on the second glance. Now you're in my system, now you're in my plans. I looked again and I felt everything. One more look, then you change everything. On the second glance, it was love at first sight. On the second glance, on the second glance, yeah. Didn't stand a chance, no. Now you're in my plan, you're in my plan. I look again, yeah. I look again. Love at first sight.
Yeah. You know what time it is.
Little black book, yeah. You know what time it is. Yeah. You know what time it is. This feels way too similar. Contempt is trying to kill you. The dating game is messed up. No accountability, nobody wanna fess up. I'm in it deep, but I don't know if he loves me, or if he's just here for the company. I spent my last time trying to see it through. Pockets empty, still don't know if you'll come through. We're real familiar, I've seen this play before. Leaving my heart and my wallet at the door. Is it real or just a cycle on repeat, walking on eggshells on these city streets. This feels way too similar. Contempt is trying to kill you. The dating game is messed up. No accountability, nobody wanna fess up. I'm in it deep, but I don't know if he loves me, or if he's just here for the company. Don't wanna fess up. Why we always gotta mess up? Searching for the truth in a little black book, but I'm scared to give it one more look. Too similar. Too similar. You know what time it is. Little black book, movie soundtrack. Little black book, yeah. You know what time it is. Yeah. You know what time it is. This feels way too similar. Contempt is trying to kill you. The dating game is messed up. No accountability, nobody wanna fess up. I'm in it deep, but I don't know if he loves me, or if he's just here for the company. I spent my last time trying to see it through. Pockets empty, still don't know if you'll come through. We're real familiar, I've seen this play before. Leaving my heart and my wallet at the door. Is it real or just a cycle on repeat? Walking on eggshells on these city streets. This feels way too similar. Contempt is trying to kill you. The dating game is messed up. No accountability, nobody wanna fess up. I'm in it deep, but I don't know if he loves me, or if he's just here for the company. Don't wanna fess up. Why we always gotta mess up? Searching for the truth in a little black book, but I'm scared to give it one more look. Too similar. Too similar. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. Little black book, movie soundtrack. Little black book, yeah. You know what time it is. Yeah. You know what time it is. This feels way too similar. Contempt is trying to kill you. The dating game is messed up. No accountability, nobody wanna fess up. I'm in it deep, but I don't know if he loves me, or if he's just here for the company. I spent my last time trying to see it through. Pockets empty, still don't know if you'll come through. We're real familiar, I've seen this play before. Leaving my heart and my wallet at the door. Is it real or just a cycle on repeat? Walking on eggshells on these city streets.
I have been debating sharing this with the internet. I always said that I was never going to be the kind of influencer that only shares the good parts of my life. I've been able to build a platform because I'm authentic. It's really important for me to own my narrative instead of letting people assume and start rumors. Ending my engagement was the hardest thing I think I've ever had to do in my entire life. It's really not the breakup itself that's hard, but it's also having to like break up with the idea of the future that you planned and grieving that too. And at this big age, 31 years old, it feels like your clock is ticking faster and faster. I think that if sharing my story helps just one person, then it's worth it. I was trying so hard to make it work. Eventually, trying to make it work felt exhausting. It literally took me accepting the hard truth that I tried to ignore. The moment I accepted that and said it out loud, I felt so much relief and honestly freedom. Not because I didn't care. I was finally listening to myself. Now I have to start over, rebuild myself, move out. It's scary. There's a lot of uncertainty, but that's also kind of the beauty in all of this. I get to start over. I am doing my best and I'm figuring it out one day at a time. So that's my truth. Love you. Bye.
Initial reaction was, any woman that likes this is not a wife. And to be clear, I actually believe she's a strong content creator. I think she's thoughtful, articulate, and influential. But that's part of why this video stood out to me the way it did, because instead of reinforcing the best parts of her platform, it highlighted all the wrong things. And I think that's exactly why it received the blowback that it did. Whenever I make content, I always ask, what message will people walk away with after watching this? And I don't think that question was considered. I promise I'm not against someone choosing themselves, but when you say yes to marriage, you've made a verbal, spiritual, and an emotional commitment. Because obviously you were both showing each other qualities of a husband and a wife. So that leaves two possibilities. She either really woke up one day and said, nah, I'm good, which she claims isn't true, or issues existed the entire time. And she still said yes to the engagement anyway. And that raises a bigger question to me. How does a woman of God, surrounded by a God-centered tribe, not girl-centered, God-centered, see clear issues, yet believe getting engaged is a solution? Let's also not forget about the cultural narrative here as well, where all men cheat, men don't commit, good men don't exist. Yet in her own words, this man didn't cheat. He was a solid, committed man prepared to make her a wife. So the message unintentionally becomes, even if you find the rare man who is faithful, who is emotionally present and ready to commit, it's still not good enough for a woman who's prayed for a husband. And whether she likes it or not, the whole decenter men, good men don't exist, all men are trash, all men are gay, all those weird cults out there, like that crowd is already stitching this video and using it as ammunition. This could have been far more powerful if it showed what she actually prayed through, what God revealed, what she learned, and what she'll do differently so that she doesn't find herself in this position again. That, nor any of the follow-up videos express that. They simply express that they exist because she wants her narrative out there. Her words, not mine. That's where this starts to appear less integral and more influential. Less Christ-driven, more culture-driven. And that's why I got the blowback that it did.
Hey guys, welcome to the Landlord YouTube. Listen, this is where we talk about relationship stuff from a male perspective. Okay, if you didn't see the video, don't worry, I will play it again. But the video was actually from a content creator called Nina Gonzalez, and she was talking about how she left her good man and had sparked a lot of controversy around the internet. Now I did a video, some short videos around this topic a couple of days ago, and I wanted to have a live conversation about it because I think it's important also to discuss relationships from a male perspective, because oftentimes we get women given their perspective, and I really want to be able to give another side of things, because I see a lot on the internet of men actually suffering when it comes to relationships. but the voices that often speak for them either become very poisonous and it's like attacking women, or they go unheard. And so I want to make sure that we can bring those male voices. I want to make sure that we can actually have conversations that are going to make those voices be heard and be seen. But I also want to be able to hold us as men accountable in that space so that we can grow and empower and move forward. Now, this situation with Nia Gonzalez, I love Forrest's take because he was highlighting some key things which I highlighted, which is whenever someone comes on the internet to tell you about their marriage that doesn't work, you have to be aware that if they're not accountable about what they did, just know they did some stuff. It's that simple. For me personally, if you come on the internet and you tell me a story about how a man or a woman left you, right, without no accountability, I'm going to look at you like you wild. Okay. All right. Because I'm wondering what the rest of the story is. I'm wondering how you've grown, how you've learned. And that's actually what Forrest was kind of saying. So I will play the clip again once more for you guys to pay attention to. So today's conversation, it is an open forum. If you have a different point of view, or you agree, or you just feel like you want to say something, then this is going to be the best space for you. Okay. There's a link in the chat. You can join the conversation. I think it's on my landlord channel as well. For those of you who are on Little Black Book side, thank you for coming through. I am going to shift it to the landlord YouTube in a minute or two. I'll give it about 5 minutes. It will be solely just a landlord. I just want to have a little bit of a kickstart before I jump over to the landlord YouTube full time as well. So let's have a little bit of this conversation, because I said I want to talk about the male perspective in this instance as well. And I want to first and foremost, play one or two more clips just to kind of get this conversation flowing and get your mind and juices flowing. You get me? Pause.
Or when you've already given everything you've got. I'll give you a hint. Your ego will not like this answer. Specifically for the men that think, oh, she makes me feel like I'm doing nothing, but I'm doing so much. Like, this might sting a little bit, but it's going to save your marriage. A lot of men see my content and their first thought is, I need to do more. Here's the truth. It's not actually about doing more. It's about being more awake. Because here's the thing. You might already be doing things like the dishes, picking up the kids, paying the bills. But if she's still leading the emotional tone of the relationship, still planning everything, still holding the vision of your future alone, then she's not in her feminine, she's in survival. And that's why she complains about this mental load. That's why she feels alone. And that's why she doesn't see all the things that you do, because you've gone invisible as a man. Let me get this clear. It's not because you're not trying. It's because you gave her all the control so you could keep the peace. And maybe at some point that felt noble. Maybe at some point you were hurt, and so you just gave it away willingly. But here's what's happening. You're resenting her for leading, and she's resenting you for disappearing from the relationship altogether. And so no, it's not about doing more. It's about being more present within the relationship. Oh, presence, leadership, masculine, feminine, these are all buzzwords. Yeah, they are. Let me hit you with something practical. Are you just moving through life, hoping that you just don't upset her? Not ever making any new plans, not ever going, this is where I want our life to go. Let's go there together, honey. Just being dragged along by the emotional tone, and then just being pissed off that she makes your life harder than it needs to be. That's what we're talking about. That's you drifting, slipping in life. It's not attractive, it's not fun, and it's probably why there's a huge fucking wall between you and her.
You're the first guy to ever treat me right. You have a 90% chance of being dumped or cheated on or done dirty in general in 2 to 4 months. There are 3 common reasons for this, and they all really come down to one thing, so make sure you watch to the end where I explain that. My name is Dr. Lily. I help you heal from breakups and toxic relationships based off of neuroscience and psychology. Number 1 is that her self-worth is so low that she actually doesn't believe that she deserves you, so she will leave you because you're treating her too well. If she has this pattern of dating men who treat her poorly, that means her consciousness is at the level of men who will treat her badly. And when you treat her the best that she's ever been treated, it's uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar for her. Her nervous system and her subconscious is wired to be treated badly because that's all she has known. This is a reflection of her limited consciousness, not of you. She might be a beautiful woman, a baddie, you might say, but if she doesn't believe that she deserves to be treated well, she will always self-sabotage and go for something or someone who treats her far less than she deserves.
And this is what I want to actually touch upon, right? For us as mandem out here, specifically on the dating realm, there's a lot of you mandem, okay, who treat women correctly, who are kind, who are generous, who are loving. You take care of that woman. You know what I'm saying to you? You give your heart to that woman. And then when you give it, you get trashed. There's a lot of mandem like that. You know what I'm saying to you? And a lot of times the story doesn't get told like that, because a lot of times with us as men, we're not about to come out and tell a sob story on the internet about how we got mistreated, right? We see on the internet, there are some men that will do that, but the majority are not men who are going to come out and tell the story. So what ends up happening in the social media market world is that women will come out, tell us their story about what happened to them. So it always looks very lopsided about who's getting hurt until you go to spaces where actual men are and you listen to their story. Then you realize there's a lot of men as well who definitely are hurt by a lot of women. Right. And so a lot of times in these social media realms where the internet is more invested in gender wars than actually trying to solve actual issues because it makes money, right? You're going to have these parallels where the women are saying women are this and men are this, etc., without really looking at each individual cases, without looking at each individual case by itself, number one. Number two, and also being aware that it's not always about women are bad or men are bad. It's actually just the fact that we're encountering certain types of people. Let me just say this, what I mean by this. There's a lot of people who are encountering really bad people on each side. I almost bet that most of those people that are having bad encounters too come from a particular home. I'm not talking about one mother or one father. No, come from a particular home where love wasn't displayed in the right way. So when you go out into the world, oftentimes we encounter people who can't give us the love that we actually need, right? They're insufficient. You get what I'm saying to you? So when we tell the stories about why we are what we are encountering out there, right? A lot of times you'll see that if you don't pay attention to your backstory, your current story that you're encountering is a reflection of that. You get what I'm saying to you? But that aside, I understand why men in 2026 are saying they don't want to get married. I can understand it. The women are saying the exact same thing, by the way. So this is not even a solo thing. I'm just talking for the men. I understand why men are saying they don't want to get married in 2026. And I know that this word for a lot of men don't like, but we're scared. Yeah. You know, I just want to keep it real. Like, I know you may not like that word as a man, so you don't have to say it, but I'll say it. We're scared. What are we scared? What are we afraid of? We're afraid that if we date somebody, we love them, we give them our heart, we give them all that we have, that in that marriage, if you end up marrying them, they are going to turn and change and be different. Right? That's a real fear. That you're gonna marry somebody who was saying they loved you, they cared about you, they wanted you, all of this kind of stuff, right? And all of a sudden they're gonna turn around and say to you, "I don't want you." That's a scary thing, right? And nobody should gaslight you to say it's not a scary thing, because it is a scary thing. Do you know what I'm saying to you? It is mad scary. As a man, I absolutely hear it, bro. You know what I'm saying to you? We don't like opening up in the first place. So then for you to open up to someone, give them your whole entire life, give them your last name, you know what I'm saying to you, to give up your life for that person, and then all of a sudden something snaps and something changes and they don't want you no more. I can understand the fear. That's a real thing. That will stop you in your tracks. You know what I'm saying to you? So in 2026, I do get it. I do get some of that fear. You know what I'm saying to you? So I'm rocking it. Let's play a little bit more of this clip and I'm going to talk a little bit more. By the way, if you do want to have your say, if you do have a different point of view, by all means, there's a link in the chat. It should be already linked. If it's not linked, let me even do it now. Let me make sure it's set up so you guys can actually join the conversation. Okay. So if you have a different point of view, if you same point of view, if you want to add on to the conversation, by all means, hold on. Sorry. Just realized I'm making noise. By all means, click on the link, come up, let's have a conversation, because it's about having conversations that we grow and we learn. Do you get what I'm saying to you? So I'm gonna pin the link. Hold on, let me put it so that's pinned. I thought I pinned it, but it's on my other channel. By the way, if you haven't already joined our other YouTube channel, The Landlord, join us, because every Tuesday we're going to be live. This is just our first one, so I thought I'd put the two together. But you know, every Tuesday we're going to be live 8 p.m. We'll be having these kind of conversations as well. Okay, all right, cool. Let's play a little more of this clip, and then we will go on.
Number 2, she might actually like and enjoy the toxicity of being with a man who doesn't treat her well. She gets excited by the highs, the lows, the good, the bad. Part of her loves that this man is inconsistent and speaks down to her. The only reason that anybody stays in a toxic relationship is because some part of them gets something from it. So some part of her gets validated by not being fully chosen by a man. Now, men, this does not mean that you should be toxic. It does not mean to go against your nature, to treat women well, and to be consistent. It's simply a reflection of this woman and where she's at. And if you're looking for something serious and real and long term, you can't trust a woman who is chasing toxicity, the highs and the lows, because that kind of woman will never be satisfied. And as soon as you get comfortable, she's looking for the next exciting thing, which means that you need to be aligned to a woman who is not like that, who doesn't love the roller coasters, and is looking for a man who shows up consistently and treats her well. And those women exist. The third reason.
So I think that's interesting, because I think from a male perspective, once more again, I love what she explained, right? It's intriguing because sometimes, and this is not all spaces, sometimes as men, I also kind of do see some of the struggles that we have, right? If we say there are bad women out there, right? Because we all agree there are bad men out there, right? I don't think we're never going to argue about whether there are bad men out there. It's intriguing, though, sometimes to have a conversation about whether there's bad men or bad women out there. Bad men are easily accepted. But when we do talk about bad women, which is what she's describing, right? When I say bad in terms of the behavior characteristics, right? When we do sometimes speak about bad women, there can be a pushback on some of those conversations, right? Like, what did you do? Like the first question, what did you do? Or what did you say? What, you know, immediately there can be a pushback, but we accept happily that there are bad men and they do bad things, right? And so sometimes men can see that and be a little bit frustrated by that, because they're not getting the same benefit of the doubt. It's like, if we accept that there are bad men out there, we have to also accept that there are bad women out there. You know what I'm saying to you? And so sometimes I see some of those things, especially when I'm on TikTok. If I'm on TikTok, broski, the conversations there are wild, bro. Like, we'll have a conversation and you'll see people coming for it. In fact, let me see if I even got the video. I want to play a little. In the meantime, I'll find a clip for you guys from the conversation we had on Thursday night on TikTok. If you haven't followed us on TikTok, follow us. It's a mad thing tonight. I'm going to play a little bit more of this clip, and I'll get a TikTok video for you.
That this might happen is that you might be treating her well, but if it's coming from insecurity, fear, or scarcity, that actually repels a high value woman who is looking for a healthy partnership. Or if you're treating her right, but not attuning to her emotional needs, she's going to want to look elsewhere. So this is an opportunity for you to see, am I leading from a grounded place because I truly desire this person? Or is it because I'm afraid I'm not going to get anything else? I see this person as higher or better than me and I need to chase them? Or are you too distracted or not in tune with your own emotional state that you can't show up for her? All of these cases are a sign of self-sabotage, which is driven by one's own subconscious beliefs. So if this woman believes that she is unworthy of love, or that love needs to be earned and needs to be chased after in order for it to be valuable, or in order for her to prove that she is valuable and worthy of love, then she will always go after men who will force her to chase them. And
that's what she's saying is choose better. And I believe in choose better. I can't lie to you. Both men and women, people don't like me saying it, but I always say this. Most of you need to choose better. Okay, that's both men and women. Okay, there are bad men out there and there are bad women out there. If you keep meeting the same pattern of women, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Listen, choose Bell. I tell the women the same thing. Choose Bell. I'm sorry. I'm not the guy that I'm not gonna pretend and not tell you the lie. Tell you half truth. Men and women need to choose Bell. Half of you guys are the problem as well. You know what I mean? Like you choose the wrong kind of people. But I want to play a little clip from
before you start. This is
okay. So I want to play. This is a little clip from Thursday night. If you haven't joined us on TikTok, we have this conversation on Thursday night. Similar topic, but Thursday night was an intriguing conversation because we started talking about this good man situation, right? And this young lady joined the conversation, and she took it absolutely freaking left. So I'm gonna play. I don't know if I should play it up. Yeah, I'll play this one. Calm. Listen, I want you to listen to this conversation.
Hello. Hold on, Big K. Before you start, this is not one of them panels. I want to let you make it because you just put in the comment chat long-winded. I want to let you know this is not one of them panels where we fight. We don't do that around here. So if you know you've come to a fight, I would say drop down. We're all respectful. We listen to other people's point of view. We can disagree, but we're not here to fight. So if you know you got the fighting spirit,
I disagree. I came to disagree. I cannot fight nobody over the computer.
Let me finish. Let me finish. I want you to understand because your energy is already antagonistic, and I don't like it. I just want to be honest with you, okay? Because you can, if you've been here long enough, you've been hearing the way that the conversation's been going. When people disagree, there's a healthy respect in the energy we have. I want you to have that same energy. If you know you've got an energy that's about to dig it, I just go, thank you very much, and I remove you. I'm warning you now because I warn the men when they come in and they do that very thing. I warn them too. I don't like it, okay? Because we in this place, I like people to have enough time to say their points, finish their points, and say what they got to say. But it's a safe space that we're talking. Do you get me? So just warning you ahead of time. You know what I mean? So you wanted to clear something up. Feel free to clear something up. Please don't be shooting people because we're not here for that. But just say, by all means, clear your point up.
Okay. When I just came in, so I heard you speaking about the Kai situation, and you spoke about him. You spoke about him being a successful, streamer. That doesn't make him a good guy. Everybody thought Bill Cosby was a good guy because he was successful. And now where is he? In prison. Y'all always confusing success with being a good person. And that's why no one believes the victim, because y'all hold these successful people to a high pedestal.
So at this point, she was actually pretty calm. At the beginning when she came in, she was calm, hot. And I had to cool her down. And after a while, she cooled down. But then she didn't want to stop there. And actually, the conversation actually got more heated after, not because of any men. It was actually because another woman decided to say she was speaking up for men. You know what I'm saying to you? Because she was actually and I agreed to her point too. We actually all agreed with her because we had already said the points that she made. She wasn't listening. When she came into the conversation, she didn't stay in the chat long enough to listen to what the conversation was. She heard Kai Sanat and immediately snapped, right? Because she had already come from another panel, another place, or whatever, who was talking about it. So she already assumed immediately what we were talking about. And that's what ends up happening to a lot of people in relationships. This is what sometimes as men, we're actually encountering with women sometimes, right? Which is you're bringing the baggage from the past relationship, and then we're getting blasted for something that we haven't even said or done. There's a projection that's happening in that immediate moment. So a lot of guys, when they say that they encounter this from women, they generally mean this. Like they actually encounter this from women where the person's coming in hot. And of course, if I'm triggered and you triggered, it's going to be very difficult, you know what I'm saying, to it's going to be very difficult in that space to handle. But of course, I'm on TikTok quite a bit, and I know these kind of things happen. So, we kept it cool. But I can also understand how difficult it can be when you're in a relationship, because if someone's spiking you, you're getting spiked, and then you're going to retaliate. And that's what ends up happening in a lot of relationships, and they end up becoming toxic, or they don't get too far because there's power struggles in there. And so a lot of times I understand where men can feel an air of frustration because it looks like they're the only villain, when in relationships, it takes two to tango. This is why I say when people come on the internet and they tell us only one side, I am looking at them weird, because I'm like, what was the other side? What did you contribute? How did you affect this scenario? How did you also, don't just say the man was bad. What else how did you get here? That tells me that there's been growth. You've learned, you've understood, you've been accountable for choices. You know what I'm saying to you? If the man is always a villain, I'm gonna look at you like, okay, you scary to me. Because that means, again, when you get to the next relationship, that man's gonna be the villain too. If he's not perfect, he's gonna be the villain too. And even if he is perfect, it still might not be good enough. You know what I mean? So accountability has to be on both sides. But I'll play a little bit more of the clip because it was kind of interesting.
You'll meet a woman getting hurt by a man versus.
Did you think Gigi was also ready to be in a relationship?
I want you to listen to this part here. It was interesting. She talks about Kai Cenat. She said she don't feel Kai Cenat
still made them bad. So, you know,
because she wouldn't have to explain. She wouldn't have to explain to her man why she want to get certain gifts. So you can tell that he's not as generous, you know. And he even told her when she said that she wanted a bag, he said, you know, we'll go buy that ish, you know. He told her to buy it herself. So he's not as generous. And you know, just because you see streamers giving people gifts and, you know, they do that to gain more followers, you know, so it's business. That doesn't, you know, y'all, you know, you're trying to, you know people without knowing people. You know, you're not having good discernment when you're watching folks, like, you know, so, and just to basically just cast him as a good man just because he's successful and he has more money than you is crazy, you know. And but anyways, being a good man won't help you with, won't help you with women in 2025. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I was just reading the prompt. I was just reading the prompt because I just came in and heard that and it was like, oh, bring me up or whatever. So yes.
So you see what I'm saying to you? All she heard was Kai Cenat, good man. She missed the whole point, which was before that. And that's what ends up happening when people are too focused on trying to have arguments and fights with people. And that's how people actually end up in relationships where they're always argumentative and they say, oh, you know, I don't know what happened. I don't know why they're so argumentative. Because you're argumentative. You've come onto, like, she didn't actually hear the whole conversation. So this is really important. I think for us as men like this, when I said this on the live as well, you also have to get to a place where if you don't like arguments, you don't engage in arguments. When I say arguments, I'm not talking about a debate. I'm not talking about a disagreement, right? We can disagree and have different points of view. Yes, Jeff, I see you, brother. We can have different points of view and can disagree, but I'm not about to, you know, engage in a warfare with you, all right, where we get too heated. And you're going to see it in this live. I'm going to show you what happened in this live because it was really interesting. So listen to this.
I was just reading a prompt or whatever, but you know, it's not that many good men out here. You know, it's slim to none. You know,
do you believe there's many good women?
It's more good women. Yeah, it is. Women are, yes, women are good women.
How do you know?
This is what I'm talking about. She said the good men are slim to none. And there's more good women. I said, how do you know that? How would you know that person's good? How would you know the men are? I'm not going to say men are more good than the women are more good. I just think there's good men and good women out there. I'm not going to say there's more. Now, as a woman, you might say there's more. You might say there's less. As a man, I might say, but again, how would you know that unless you know them? You don't know how they behave in a relationship. Women say, and I agree with them, they say, you don't know that man until you're in a relationship with that man. And I would agree with them. We don't know that woman until you see them in a relationship with themselves. So this is, and that's what I said about this thing of not holding on both sides. You've got to be able to hold both sides. You're absolutely right. If we can't say that men are good without being in a relationship because we don't date them, you're absolutely right. Then you can't say women are good. You don't date them. You don't know what they're like either. You don't know what happens to them. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying to you? Like, and I'm not talking, again, outside of the most craziest and heinous crimes, which we're not including. We're just talking about relationships in general.
Without knowing them.
I can say a lot of women that are bad it's because of a man, behind a man.
But
They've been hurt by a man, and that's why they're not, if they weren't good women, a lot of times women are good women because they've been hurt by a man so many times.
Again, pause it. I always found this conversation annoying because it's like women are good, but the ones that are not good are because they've been hurt by a man or a woman. Some of you, your biggest ops is not a man, it's a woman. It's your mum. It's your aunt. It was your sister. It was your cousin as a girl. Like, it's not only just, and again, this is what, and when you have that worldview, and I say the same thing to men as well. I say, man, them, if all your worldview is that women are bad, you're not going to win any games. But the reality of the situation is she's going to go down a lane where she's going to say, okay, the good ones, the good girls, or the girls that are bad, it's only because men have treated them, which is that women are inherently good. And it's not true. That would be like me saying men are inherently good. It's not necessarily true, right? Or if we are going to go that, then both men and women are inherently good. And unfortunately, they've also encountered bad people on their growing up. So they would have to go both ways.
So
wouldn't that still make them bad, regardless of what the reason for it is? Wouldn't that still make them bad? So, I'm only saying because you made a point about we don't know Kai Cenat. And actually, Kai Cenat wasn't actually the topic of the main discussion. That discussion was a general conversation. Kai Cenat came up like the last 5 minutes. But you obviously made a mention, we don't know Kai Cenat. You're right. That's why we said everything was allegedly. And what Zay was actually saying was he fits a prototype. It doesn't mean he actually is a good guy. We actually agree. We don't know if he's a good guy, but he fits the archetype on the surface of being a good guy. So we're discussing it. So you've made some actual points that we've actually aligned with actually in that space. So, but you've also made a deduction about between men and women. And I always find it interesting when men do this or when women do this, when they start making deduction about who's the better in terms of the dating realms aspect, right? But you made a point saying, okay, like, there's not many good guys out there, but you believe there's more women out there. But when you made a deduction about Kai Cenat, you've made a whole deduction without knowing Kai Cenat. Would you say you know Kai Cenat?
I said you have to have good discernment. So that's watching a person and learning them by their actions. Just like that video that I was speaking about, it told me a lot. You can tell.
He a bad guy? So by your conclusion of what you deciphered and what you discerned, is he a bad guy?
He's young and immature. And
you don't know
he's stingy and he's insecure. I feel like he's an insecure little boy. He doesn't know how to be in a relationship yet. Because anytime you're in a relationship, you're going to put your 100% in. So you're not going to be, I don't want to do too much for her because I don't want to be a trick, or I don't want to be cast as this, or, you weren't about what other people think. So therefore, he's not even ready to be in a relationship. He got some growing to do.
Do you think that the girl was ready to be in a relationship? Did you think Gigi was also ready to be in a relationship?
I really don't watch Gigi, so I wouldn't know. I don't watch her like that. I watch Kai. I don't watch her. I don't watch Gigi. But I can't say when
she was getting so drunk, she couldn't function at the party, and you had to take her out the party. What did you think about that?
She could function. She was irate and excited and having fun on the mic. I seen that. But that doesn't, he didn't have to drag her out the party or nothing like that. He was just telling her to calm down. She was just hyping it. She was just showing her personality what it was,
Okay. So you'd say she's a good girl then? A good woman?
I don't think she's a bad person just because she got drunk and she was having fun and she was hyping up him and his friends. She was doing, she hyping up her man. She was like, he that guy, him and his friends. Ain't nobody, ain't got nothing on my man and his friends. And she was just drunk and having fun.
Aside, not taking into, of course, the drunken aspect. Yeah, we all get people. Well, I don't drink, but most people do, right? So let's not put it on that. But would you then say Gigi is a good woman?
I said I don't watch her like that, so I can't not I don't watch her like that.
No, that's a good
I
answer,
watch
right?
Kai more than I watch her. So
No,
I cannot make that, I cannot make no decision for real. But I can say that anything that I have seen, she's not too bad. She's okay.
That's not a problem. But did you see what you did? You were able to deduct with Kai because you had seen Kai. You hadn't seen Gigi, and so you couldn't say anything about Gigi. So when I asked you earlier on about how did you make the deduction that men, there's slim pickings of men, but it's more good women, when you don't know those women, how can you make that deduction when you haven't witnessed them?
Okay, without talking about Kai and Gigi, I can answer that question about the world. It's because you'll see a woman getting hurt. You'll meet a woman getting hurt by a man versus a man.
And I think this is where the conversation goes a little bit left in this instance. It goes to a whole debate about whether, who's the worst people in the world and etc. Right? But I think it goes down to that massive point where it's like, that's what I said about visibility of stories. Until you're around a lot more men and listen to their stories about how they get hurt by women, it's very hard to empathize with men. Because men are often seen as the villain. They're seen as the bad guys. Yes, Jeff, I see. I'm going to bring on a minute or two. Men are often seen as a villain automatically, which is why when I played that original video of Nina Gonzalez, her telling us about her partner, and he's a good man, but she left him. Everybody goes on her side of the internet. Well, he must have done something. Because what do you mean he just, you know what I mean? So because men often, not always, but men often get the villain edit. You know what I'm saying to you? And so here she's able to deduce and say to us, look, Kai Cenat, she watches him, so she knows. But with Gigi, she's not really sure. She couldn't say if 100% if Gigi. I thought that was intriguing. That she couldn't say if Gigi was a good woman or not. But, without actually really getting up close to people, we don't know how they actually function in a relationship. And I remember I was having this conversation with my sister saying this, like, you can say you want your friend deserves this, right? My friend deserves a good man. But your behaviors don't lead you to good men. Therefore, what you deserve doesn't matter, because actually what you feel that you deserve is different from what you think they deserve. And so actually our actions kind of tell people what we feel we deserve in that instance. That's both men and women, by the way. It's not just thingy, right? So I'll speed up because this is the last part. It got to a particular part. One of the ladies in our conversation who joined the men's panel on the Thursday night was speaking up for the man. I want you to listen.
Often, obviously, we know men as a strong masculine man, but they're also very soft. And that's why respect is so important to respect your man. And women's words can hurt you so deep. To the point where, why do these men do not open up to another woman? Because they're afraid that this woman is going to treat them like the woman before. That he is afraid to open up. He's afraid to cry. Why is he afraid to do that? Because the woman that he was with before has disrespecting him. She put him as a, doormat. How is this man going to open up again in front of another woman? And that's why men often need a little bit more time to even see you as the good woman. They want to see that, and they want to test you and, all these things before they open up. Because men have been hurt too. Yes, I know there's a lot of women have been hurt. I've been hurt too, right? But I know, and I work with women, and women can be cruel. If you're not healthy woman, I so believe that if you're not healed, look, I used to argue with men too. I could be disrespectful, but once you heal, once you know who you are, there's no way that I will ever argue with a man. I'm respecting myself enough not to raise a voice. I don't need to raise a voice. I speak. If you're not respecting me back, we need to move away from this conversation. If you need space, tell me you need space. If I myself recognize that I need space, I tell you I need space. We'll need to come back to this conversation, because there is no way that I'm going to be raising my voice at anybody, especially not in a man. If I'm respecting that man, I should not, no way I will be raising my voice at the man. Absolutely not. And
you know, they just want to be or as far as like a woman asking for a man to take care of.
I'm gonna go slightly. Okay.
We're not here bashing women, but you are giving us a point of view that there are some unhealthy women. And as men, I always say this, we got to be accountable and choose the right kind of woman. And as you said, if you're not with the right woman, you got to get yourself out of there, sir. So I appreciate what you said. And I believe the men also in the chat also appreciated what you said. It didn't turn us now to look at women and go, let's beat everyone. No. What you said was just validating some of the feelings that we actually have. And I think that's a beautiful thing when someone can do that. Zay, go for it, brother.
Yeah, I'll keep it very short. But Priscilla, what just to summarize what Kojo was saying, that was lovely, by the way. So on behalf of all the men, we appreciate what you said. Your perspective was quite comprehensive.
Appreciate it. Yes, Big K.
Woo. Okay, so I wanted to touch base on far as like a woman asking for a man to take care of her. We all have been raised that way. We have all been raised to look as the man to be the protector and the provider. However, you know, I more so think of I go by a partnership. Can somebody mute because it's like echoing?
Now, before she goes further, she just told us that she goes by a partnership, right? And I think that's very important because what's about to be said. You know what I mean? Right? It's like automatically she's already told us what she said. Okay, she's about partnership. Whenever I hear that, I know that usually that there's going to be some level of you having to down a man's position. Because partnership does not mean I don't have a role. You can have a partnership and you can have 60-40. It's still a partnership. It's not about the equilibrium of equality here. A partnership can be 80-20. It's still a partnership, right? What you're talking about is having an equilibrium of equality in terms of our equity, right? But that doesn't always be the case. Sometimes it can be 8-20, 10-90. Sometimes it can be 50-50. Sometimes it can be 60-40. There are different aspects to that. I'm saying that because when she said partnership, I already knew where she was going because the energy that she came on with about the Kai situation, I know where it's going. Just like when women know when men are going, when they come with a certain energy, where they're about to go to next. You get me? So just this last part before I bring on Jeff and have this conversation.
Yeah, so I don't live by a patriarchy. But you know, it's you cannot sit up here and say you're going to be the protector and the provider, and then you're upset when a woman is making sure you have the right funds to protect her, to provide her, to provide for her and your family. So when a woman is meeting you and y'all both believe in this, y'all both say this, and then you're contradicting yourself or, you know, claiming to be, oh, I'm being a trick or whatever the case may be. Well, you're supposed to be the protector and the provider. You want to be the lead in the house, right? So this is what you live by. So when a woman is making sure that your funds is right, you should be okay with that. But that is the problem that we having in this world today, and that's why relationships are not working.
By the way, none of us actually mentioned anything about funds. What she's talking about is Gigi asking for a Birkin bag from Kai. That's what she's talking about. She's not talking about your usual funds. She's talking about Gigi asking Kai for a Birkin bag, and he told her no. That's what she's talking about. And that's why she called him as somebody who's not being as generous as he needs to be. Because Kai decided he didn't want to buy a Birkin bag for Gigi. That's what we're talking about, by the way. And this is why I said it's always important to have these conversations. Because, see, she was trying to flip it and trying to flip the narrative. But the reality was, that's what she was talking about. Because that's what she ended up taking us to. And we already said we already know that men should lead. We already know that men should provide. We were talking about this before she got there. But because, again, she has a beef with men, and I ain't even trying to get into the beef like that, you have to take us down that lane.
You know, the economy is, and, you know, it'll be better for two incomes to be in a home anyways. So, but the fact that men want to have power in the home, That is why we're not going to get away from that, because they want to be the head. They want to have more respect in the home. They want to control a woman. So that's why a lot of men lead with their pockets. That's why men are going to keep on, going by this patriarchy and, saying that. But at the same time, it's just a manipulation, because they really don't want to take care. They just want a woman to bow down. They want a woman, they just want to be, they want to be over a woman. They want respect in the home, but they don't want to give respect. And that's the problem in the man today. The same man that claim to be good, they think that way. That's not a good man. When you feel like you are above your woman and child, especially if you believe in this Jesus, that is what they go by in the Bible.
You see that? It was unnecessary. Because you see what I'm saying to you? She throwing shots for what reason? We were actually agreeing with her, and most of the points she made, we actually agreed with her. But she wanted, you see, when people are hurt, when they're wounded, they want to shoot. They need something that they can prod you with. They need something. I get it from both men and women, by the way. But as men, this is what I'm saying to you. Some of these men are fake. This is what they're facing out there. They're facing some of this stuff out there, right? They're passive aggressive. Exactly. They're facing some of this energy. And when they tell people, they'll be like, "No, she's like." This woman will say, "Well, what did you do?" We haven't done anything. We've just been a platform, just having a conversation. She jumped in, and now we're getting shot for our faith. All right, cool. Almost there.
You are. It's God, man, woman, then child. There's no way a man should be above a woman and a child. If it wasn't for the woman, the man and the child wouldn't even be there. If it wasn't for his mother, and if it wasn't for her, their child wouldn't be there. So there's no way adults should be before children when children are innocent to this world. So until we start putting the right people on a pedestal and having respect for each other, and mostly men need to have respect for women, because especially if you go by the Bible, if you really read the Bible, because I have read the whole Bible, and it's no respect for women in that Bible, so until men get away from that and start having more respect for women, the world's not going to be a better place. Because at the end of the day, who we're locking our doors for? Men. We're not locking our doors for a woman. How many people can say, if they ever been robbed, what was the gender? It was a man. Mostly men commit crimes. Men are more violent than women. Statistics shows that. So that's why it's more good. Mind is corrupt. She needs to unlearn the things that she have learned.
So basically, Priscilla, the other lady, spoke about.
I digress.
She wanted to.
I just got a question. The ladies that are following behind the men to commit crimes, do you believe that men are leaders?
It won't make sense. I'll skip this part because it will need context what the conversation was on. But this is where we got to. This is the last part we got to, because we had a conversation where I asked her about
women commit crimes.
We're off target.
There's some wrong aspects in the system, because human beings can be a nasty piece of work. And if you want to say that most men commit violent crimes, I'm not even going to argue with you. I won't even argue with you. I'm not even going to fight you. Aspect. She specifically wanted to highlight women that are not healthy doing certain things. And now you are showing us this behavior. We're not being rude to you. We're not trying to
I think let's go back a little bit. You're gonna miss this context. Hold on.
On this panel, you've come on this panel. I've let you speak. I've not shut you down. I've not muted you when you've been talking. Nah, we let you have free speech here, women and men. But what you did is very interesting. The moment that a woman disagreed with you, I saw you in a chat instantly call her a pick me. You started insulting the woman, and you're saying that you're for women, but you started insulting the woman immediately as she disagreed with you. Instead of actually coming against her point, you immediately started insulting her. Yeah, I disagree with you. I've not insulted you. I've not called you out your name. I don't need to label you anything. I just disagree with you. And that's what she was saying about people being who are unhealthy are being actually disrespectful. What she actually highlighted was that she actually specifically said women that are unhealthy. She wasn't talking about all women. This is why it's important to sit down, listen, take your time, not have a preconceived notion, because she specifically talked about not all women. She spoke specifically to women that are unhealthy, are being disrespectful, and those men should leave those women, which I actually fully agree with, because I would say the exact same for any woman that's a man that's disrespectful. Why be in a relationship with that person? Leave them. But you didn't pick that point up. What you picked up
But
was
why me calling her a pick me gotta be an insult? Insult. It's a lot of women that call themselves pick me's.
I haven't finished. But there's no but, because I haven't finished. And you can hear me, I haven't finished.
But you're trying to put a bad taste in everybody's mouth about me, like I disrespected her. I didn't disrespect her. I called her what she was. And there's a lot of people that wasn't an insult. You took it as an insult because you feel feel like that's a disrespectful thing.
Kay, can you hold on? I'm talking and you're doing the very thing we're talking about. You're interrupting me. And I keep telling you, hold on. I have to say it several times. I'm exercising a lot of patience with you. I'm being mad respectful.
Okay, go ahead. I'm muted.
So the point I'm making here is that you actually misquoted what her actual point was in this aspect. She specifically wanted to highlight women that are not healthy doing certain things. And now you are showing us this behavior. We're not being rude to you. We're not trying to crush you, mute you, whatever. And I have to keep on saying it to you over and over again. Hold on. Let me finish my point. And you keep interrupting because you feel like you have to say what you got to say. Whether you feel like you're going to forget or whatever, it doesn't really matter. But you're showing that, and that's what she's saying about showing the lack of the respect. That's what we're talking about.
So the other lady on the panel was describing, saying that when they're men are dealing, some men, not all, some men are dealing with unhealthy women. So she made a claim to say that there are unhealthy women out there who are disrespectful to men. This is what the men are complaining about. So she highlighted that point. She specifically said unhealthy women. She didn't say every woman was. She said unhealthy women, right? And she made a very distinct claim saying that she also has dealt with women and they can be disrespectful. Not all, some can be disrespectful, which is a fair point, because the same way I can say that there are men out there who are great and there's some awfully trash men out there. We've all met trash people on both sides of the spectrum. Let's not pretend, you know what I mean? I'm not about to kumbaya with men just to be able to say that these bad men are great. They're not. There's some crappy men out there, and there's some crappy women out there, right? And so that's what Priscilla was. The other lady was talking about. But Kay is, she wants to fight. And I think this is a really good illustration for us as men, specifically about the kind of relationship we have to be very aware of. If you meet Kay, you're not trying to tame her, bro. Okay? We do not need to try and tame these kind of women. Okay? We're only going to cause ourselves long-term issues. There are great women out there. You can find great women. I'm one of those people that will tell you, I'm not here to put all women down. But I'm telling you, there's great women out there, bro. Beautiful, fine, sexy, chocolate, badders out there, bro, who are kind, loving, and considerate. And there are some lizards out there, bro, on both sides, both men and women, who are just Komodo dragon's blood. Yeah. And if you encounter the Komodo dragon, don't expect the Komodo dragon to suddenly become the green lizard all of a sudden. It's a Komodo dragon. You get me? So this is showing you, right, this type of behavior. And this should not lead you now to a place where you're like, you know what, I'm gonna see what it can. There's no see if it can work, bro. Kay, this woman Kay here is not interested in seeing what it can work with. Do you get what I'm saying to you? So what do? You do not entertain that kind of woman, because it's gonna be an opportunity cost for you as a man. This last little bit where she says this thing, I promise, Jeff Namo.
That's essentially what she's highlighting. When people are not healthy, they show this lack of disrespect for the people that they're actually with. We can talk about men. If you want to talk about men, hey, you can talk about men. but she specifically highlighted that point. You know what I mean? So that's all she was kind of highlighting. So I wanted to bring that into that aspect. But you wanted to say something, go for it.
Now listen to this carefully.
So I'm not going to even touch base on that. I'm going to touch base on the beginning of, you know, what you had asked me that, you know, are, you know, majority of the world law-abiding citizens. And that is not correct. Most human beings commit crimes. Most human beings commit crimes and don't even get, you know how many laws there is, you know, it's a lot of people that are committing crimes and they're just not getting caught. It's, you know, it's how many times, do you know how many times people jaywalk? Like, and that's a crime. It's so many laws out here that people commit just because you're not getting caught. No, it's most people, because most people aren't perfect. No one is perfect, actually. So everybody has committed some type of crime, not drinking while driving. There's a lot of people that drink and drive, but they just never been caught. It's a lot of people that don't wear their seatbelt, but they haven't been caught. Everybody has broken the law in some form and fashion. So what you said and what you was trying to make a point, and that was not true. And even though it didn't have nothing to do with what I was saying, it didn't argue the fact what I was saying was right. You just try to ask me something and get off subject as if I was saying anything wrong. And you're just trying to paint me as a bad person. Oh, I'm insulting. And oh, how me calling her a pick-me is viewed, or, you know, is viewed by every woman. Like, why am I the example of every woman just because I called her a pick-me? I'm not every woman. Every woman doesn't even think like me. I don't think like most women. I don't react like most women. So you can't say, oh, you said what you did in the comments and called her a pick-me. That's what she was saying. You proved her right. She was saying how men, you know, women aren't respectful, and, you know, so for you to say that, you're trying to say, you know, I am the example of every woman. I'm not the example of every woman.
So again, and this is what.
So this is what I'm saying to you, as men, we need to also be aware of this, right? Like, this is why I said I don't. This is why I said if you argue with some people, yeah, they're only going to gaslight you, right? Now, I don't think she's even doing it on purpose. I just think she can't help herself. I actually generally don't think she can help herself. And it's because, again, when you're arguing from a bad faith perspective, or I should even say that, let's just say right now you're emotionally aroused. Whatever's happened to you before this live is what I'm encountering right now, because you're emotionally aroused, so you can't even hear very well what you're saying, because I already reiterated it to her that it was some women that the other lady was talking about. She wasn't talking about all women. That's why I was able to rock with what she said. If it was all women, I wouldn't even want to be involved in that conversation. She said some women, and I think that's important. And now and the real truth is, she felt like I was trying to make her the bad person, and I wasn't. I was trying to tell her that when you called her a pick-me, there's nothing nice about you calling her a pick-me. There is nothing but an insult when you called her a pick-me in a chat. You were not saying it in a nice way. You're not saying it in a cute way. So this insult now she's trying to flip it onto I'm making her a bad person. And I want the man them to be very careful. This is how manipulation starts in relationships. If you don't call it out at the time, this is what happens in relationship. Now, she ain't my girl, so I don't really give a damn. But you have to, this situation, when it happens, you have to be very firm. You have to be, when I say firm, I don't mean scream and shout. Firm is not scream and shout. You have to be very firm and let the person know, hey, where you're going to now is beginning to get manipulation. What I've said, I've been very clear about what I've said, right? I've repeated it to you on numerous occasions. I've let you know what it is. And I want you to understand that this position It's not me being manipulative. It's me telling you what it is. You have your opinion. I have my opinion. We can agree to disagree. But the moment you trying to make it as if I'm making you something and I've not made you anything. And you have to be very careful. As men, this is what I'm saying to you. Man, them, we don't want to be trying to tame the shrew. There is no taming of the shrew. When some women are like this, you got to just leave them as it be. There are other women who are very much will argue, will have a disagreement with you, will disagree, and in good faith, right? They may get in their emotions, whatever, but they're gonna be disagreeing in good faith. They're not about to flip it onto you. They're not gonna say you're a manipulator. They're not gonna say this. Da. Do you see what I'm saying to you? So as man, then we don't need to be involved in this situation here. You know what I'm saying to you? Like this is not our kind of thing here, fam. You hear me? Hey Jay, I see you, bro. Hey, click the link, Jay, bro. It's in the chat, bro. It's in the chat. I'm about to bring Jeff on in a sec. So this is the last part here. It gets worse as last part. This is why I wanted to play, because this is what I want you to understand for us as men, why I'm having these conversations.
But I think it's important to actually really hear what we were saying. I didn't say you're every woman. And Priscilla never said you're every woman.
You did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You said you try to make it. You try to prove her what she said was right by me calling her a pick-me in the comments. You said you proved her right by saying that in the comments.
What was her point?
Every woman wouldn't respond like that.
No, what was her point?
Just because I said something that you found that was disrespectful, when it's women out here that call their self pick-me's, it's women that actually has it on as their name, their profile name, pick me or pick Misha. They call their self pick-me's because they feel like men are the leaders and they look.
Now she's trying to gaslight us because Priscilla doesn't have pick me in her bio. She doesn't have pick me in any of her things. You go on her profile, there's no pick me there. Priscilla was coming from a Christian perspective, talking about how she views things. She never said anything about being a pick me, but now she's trying to flip it onto me to say there are women out there who call themselves pick me's, but this woman didn't. So why did you call her that? Now you're trying to gaslight me because she's done something wrong. But this is why I said that. See, when you let people speak, they hang themselves. I ain't got to shout and scream. And this is what I'm saying to you as man them, right? As I said to you, when I'm dealing with women, I'm not screaming and shouting, bro. If I start screaming and shouting, I'm going to lose my head, bro. And if I lose my head, I'm going to lose all sensibility. And then when I lose all sensibility, I can't say to you, that's not how we should do things in this household. Because if I'm exhibiting poor leadership and then I expect you to be able to follow that leadership and expect you to do better than what I just did, that makes no sense. So if I'm going to lead you, I'm going to have to lead you correctly. That's why at times when she was interrupting me, I just kind of like, okay, continue, because I can now see you're going off, you're going way off tangent, and you're not even addressing the point we're addressing now. And it's because you're not willing to take accountability in that moment.
Look up to men. It's women that agree with that type of living. It's women that have that type of mindset, and they don't find anything wrong in it. I may find something wrong in it, but majority of the world doesn't, because majority of the world is living under a patriarchy. Majority of the world feel like a man is the leader.
What was Priscilla's point again?
Her point was BS. Everything she said went out one ear and out the other.
You remember the point.
I didn't agree nothing of what she said. I don't care what her point was.
I understand.
I know she was saying stuff, saying disrespectful things about women. That's why I called her a pick-me. I know she was putting a man on a pedestal. I know she was trying to victimize men like they're the victim when they're out here graping women. When they're out here looking at women as a sex symbol. Wow. Men are complaining about women making sure they have the right amount of money to pay and take care and provide for their family. But yet these men are looking at them like a piece of snack. They're not trying to court them or get to know them as a human being. If you ask a man right now that's in a relationship or that's married, why do you love your wife? He's gonna name everything of what she does for him. He's not gonna name her nothing about her personality, how she make him feel, her mindset, the way she live her life, he's not going to name nothing like that. He's going to say what she does for him. Versus a woman, I bet you're not going to get that same response. Most women are going to get to know her man. That's why a lot of men get caught cheating, because she pays attention to her man too much. She pays attention to too many details. Men don't care enough to pay attention to too many details because they're not into you that way. They only into you of what they can get out of you, and that is smacks. Because they were taught to think like that. They were taught to be that way.
I just said okay, and then she dropped from the conversation. Now, this is important. Okay, as someone said in the chat, it actually wasn't about me. She wasn't angry at me. She was angry at the fact that, and I love what someone said, the mirror had been held up to her, and she needed to be accountable. She spoke about, and again, we're addressing the men here today. So, because of course, the men's conversation, we're talking about the men. Whilst the woman was in the wrong, I want to highlight something. This wasn't about me. She's not angry at me. That's why I said she was hot about something else that wasn't about me, that she had stopped listening. She didn't even care in the end about the point. She was angry. And in that anger, which is probably, it's more than just a moment. She probably has some previous anger that she's dealing with, hasn't dealt with it. She thought she can come here and maybe she might rage bait, maybe she'll fight. And it was not here. And this is why I say that Jesus kind of puts it plainly the best. He says, the enemy comes, but he has nothing in me. Because I've done this for a very long time now, you know what I mean? Most times I can keep my cool. I'm going to say most times because I'm a human being and I'm Jesus. Jesus got the lock on that one. Most times when you do something, I'm just going to be like, oh, okay, cool. It's not really, the energy you're bringing must not be about me. And it was clear then. I was like, oh, this is not about me. This is about something else that a man has done, has frustrated her, made her angry, whatever. And I get a lot of those on TikTok, people coming in, because they see a man and they think that I am maybe one of those red pill people or whatever. And I'm going to say something that you're going to latch onto. But it's like, no, we're going to have a real conversation that's on both sides. So, and in the end, she actually insulted the other woman. So now, is she going to blame men for that one? Is it men that caused that woman harm by saying she's a pick-me? And then in the end, she said, I don't even care about her point. She was talking nonsense. So guess what now? Now what? Can we blame a man for that? You know what I mean? Would it? You know what I'm saying to you? So again, this is what ends up happening when we are already emotionally aroused, we're frustrated about the opposite sex. You're going to be tense, bro. So for me, the advice to any man out there, right, in these situations is we don't want to get ourselves to a place where we're completely tense, that we look at women as the enemy. Otherwise, you're going to end up dating the enemy. I can promise you. The thing that you very much hate is the very thing you're going to end up loving. But look, that's my hour and 20 done on this part. Let me enjoy this panel conversation. I know one or two other guys coming through. Jeff, talk to me, bro.
Bro. What the flip was I just watching? Like, seriously, what the flip was I actually watching? Because all I could just see was someone that is living in their trauma. That's all I can literally see. I think she wasn't, like you rightly said, she wasn't angry with you. If anything, she was angry with whatever she had been through in her past. That's all it just comes down to, because she has confirmation bias, probably by way of the men she has encountered. Because when you were trying to bring things to a balanced perspective, like the fact that already she's in a place of quantifying, basically saying that there's more good women than there are good men. How would she know that? How would she know what to look out for in a good man? And also the metrics of what she determines to be a good man. She doesn't believe in that because, number one, she may have not seen that. It's about social proofing as well, probably due to negative encounters that she has had, whether it be due to her dad, whether it be due to her uncles, whether it be due to her brothers, cousins, whatever. And it showed in real time in her own behavior. She didn't care about the point. Like, you wouldn't have won with her intellectually. You are literally correcting her at certain points. Like, we all know that most people look at pick me as a negative connotation. It's the same, it's the female equivalent to what men are called simping. Is literally the female equivalent. There's a negative connotation behind that. Most people think of pick me as desperate. So the fact of the matter is, Priscilla was just basically saying, have respect. I'm not going to argue with another man. Somehow that triggered her. And the fact is, I believe she wanted someone to validate her pain. She wanted that confirmation bias, because if you had decided to do the very thing that a lot of red pill content does, or manosphere people do, whether it's, you know, get angry, get hyperbolic, you validate how she feels. You validate her experience. You didn't give into that. And actually, you personified the verse in Proverbs chapter 15, where it says, a gentle answer turns away wrath. You were given gentle answers. She was coming with the wrath. She was looking for you to basically say what needs to be. She was looking for you to basically validate how she feels. You didn't give into that. And that actually was a paradigm that she is not ready to face. The paradigm being that, yeah, there's actually good men out there. You just need to know where to find them. But that also requires you looking at yourself to ask yourself, are you really as good as you say you are? Because even to your point where you were talking a long time ago about the metrics of what is considered to be good, that's why I don't take my cues on social media about what is considered to be good. I don't do that, because good is always going to be subjective depending on what is put out there in social media. But that's neither here nor there. I think as men, first and foremost, I think more importantly, if we are going to be looking for good women, we have to start with ourselves first and foremost. Always. It always starts with us. And leadership always requires us to lead by example, point blank, period. And if we get to a place where we are trying to date these type of women, and I say these type of women because clearly there are women that don't move like this, at some point, we have to look at, okay, what are our traumas? What are our triggers? What are the things that we have gone through in our past that have affected our perception? Because the perception of how we see women based upon the things that we've gone through will determine how we will treat them. There's a lot more I could say, but I think I want to allow Jason to also say his 2 piece about it as well too.
Good points there, bro, Jeff. As always, man, tapping in strongly, and I appreciate that 100%. I hear you, Jay. I hear you. I don't know if you good now, Jay. Go for it, bro.
I'm good.
I know this is your topic, boy.
I know. What a start to 2026,
bruh. I know this is Jay's topic.
I mean, I didn't catch the live. I didn't even catch the beginning of you playing it now, so I just entered it in. I didn't know what to expect. So, wow, so much to say. But you know when, let's say, guys are saying ladies struggle with accountability. Now, taking away like the broad stroke, taking away sometimes, you know, guys are just saying that because they don't want to be accountable or responsible themselves. When you're talking to, like, let's say, men of wisdom, or there are some situations where, you know, facts are facts, these are the circumstances that we're actually talking about, where we know what really is going on behind the scenes. We're just waiting literally for that person to, if anything, hang themselves. And one of the things that you did so well, bro, is when you said, what was Priscilla's point again? I was laughing hard. Because at that point, we all knew she had forgotten. Because it wasn't even about the point. She was triggered from whenever she was, and she had to say what she needed to say. The second trigger was when you basically called her out for it. I'm assuming based on the conversation that happened. And the type of person she is, she has to be wrong and strong that she can't take it. And I even say, bro, it's also because you're a man. That is also because you're a man. Clearly, she doesn't respect men. Clearly, whatever's happened to her, it's unfortunate, whatever she's been through. You know, we pray for healing. We pray that other ladies don't go through some horrible situations, right? But she was horrible, right? But anyway, this is what it looks like, right? This is what it looks like when we're talking about being around certain people, because men can do it too, that are insufferable, because they're not trying to hear you. They're not trying to take on board what you're saying. They're not even trying to come to an understanding or to a compromise, depending on the situation. Not only do they just want to be right, but this is a form of them getting out how they feel. They just don't know how to do it in a healthy way. So there's going to pour, there's going to be angry. And we can see when the real issue started to come, when the real issue was how she feels towards men, she already had a bad tone, but you can see there was an extra anger, an extra aggression there. There was something more. And this is how we know, all right, we get it now. We get it. Again, I didn't even hear what Priscilla had to say. So all I'm going off is what? What's her name? D? I can't remember what her name was. What she had to say, right? But this is what we hear in life, right? For the ladies, this is what you also hear when it comes to these red pill guys or some of these guys that get in these podcasts, and you can hear what's going on behind them. You can hear the foundation of how they feel towards women. This is the same thing. This is exactly the same thing. And one thing that she was right about, yeah, there are women out there who don't think like her, but there are women out there who are exactly like her. They just don't get on a podcast and, and misbehave, embarrass themselves. Some of us have been in relationships with this, with this type of thing where, there is no peace. There is no healthiness behind that type of conversation. It's just beat down, anger. It's hilarious, man. Absolutely hilarious, bro. But what I will say to end it, ladies, don't be like this. Guys, don't date someone who's like this. But also, guys, also don't be like this.
Please
Use
don't.
these things as an example of just, all right, this is how not to be. This is how not to have a healthy relationship. This is how to really just embarrass yourself all over the internet.
I'm glad you said that, Jason. Like the fact you said guys don't also be like this, because here's the thing. These type of behaviors, manipulation, gaslighting, is not something that is specific to just one gender. Both men and women do this. Both men and women do this. We're talking about dysfunction that exists in any human being. So it's very telling when either genders like to say most men or most women. When you make a generalization without context, that's the epitome of ignorance. Because number one, that's like literally when you hear guys say, oh, women are ish and O's and tricks. And when women say most men are trash, how would you know? Are you God that you know every single man that you can actually go and say that? Or is it based upon your own anecdotal experiences of the men that you have been with in your life? And at some point, there has to be accountability on both sides, because we don't get the privilege of projecting our traumas onto somebody else, especially if we're the same people saying that we want to have healthy, meaningful relationships. I have had bad experiences with women that I chose. That's the thing. I chose to be in toxic relationships with certain type of women. Am I now going to get up on a platform and then say that most women are this? Because what's telling also is that a lot of people, when you're in a place of pain, all you see is red. And that's what the woman was doing. All she saw was red. She had a nihilistic perspective. Much like the manosphere and the red pill guys have. They have a nihilistic perspective. And they like to use statistics, because this is what she was also doing. Using statistics as a means of confirming her own biases. But let someone give different statistics, it will challenge her own paradigm. And when both men and women are not willing to challenge their own paradigm because they are operating from a place of pain, they will project that pain onto the next person and the next person and the next person, and becomes a generational curse. Like a lot of times when 2026, every time when I go on Instagram, when I go on TikTok, when I go on X, and I have to look another comment, you will find it everywhere. You will find so many content creators nowadays that love to talk so much about what a good man is and what a good woman is. And some of these people have never seen what a good woman looks like, because they themselves, I believe, that they don't even think that they are good, or they project to be good, but they don't understand that for themselves. If you're really a good woman or good, you don't even have to say that. You let other people see that in how you carry yourself. Like, even that's why there's a passage, I think, in the book of Galatians that talk about the fruits of the Holy Spirit, which is more so the fruits of your labor, your actions, it's evident in how you carry yourself. I don't need to come out and say I'm a leader. Jason doesn't need to come out and say he's a leader. Kojo doesn't need to come out and say he's a leader. You see it in the way that we act. Same way there's a lot of women that are great, are fantastic, are fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God like everybody else. The trouble is that when you operate from a place of total pain, when you just see nothing but red, when you base your existence by what you've been through by your mums, dads, aunts, uncles, all of that stuff, you only go by what you know. And maybe you have some form of idea, I want to have a relationship, but you don't know how to, so you go by what you're comfortable with, living in your toxicity. So I said it to say this, like, ladies, these type of women specifically, that type of behavior, trust me, you yourself would not want to be around that type of energy. Men, if you want to be around that type of energy, well, don't be coming up on the internet then saying, oh, most women are this, when you've been warned. Don't be coming up on the internet and then basically saying most women are this and most women are that. You've been warned. Everyone has a choice. Everyone has choice, responsibility, and accountability for the decisions that you choose to make. When you now make it say, oh, most women are this or most women are that, I'm sorry, I'm going off one because I'm tired. At this point, I'm sick and I am tired of continuously, day to day, having to hear both sides continuously blame the other for their problems. It's one thing that we have to have a conversation regarding the ills of what goes on, and we have to hold a safe space where we listen with the intention to understand and not respond. But at some point, it becomes whinging, it becomes whining when you now are basically taking out your mind vomit. For men who do this, and then you have the absolute nerve to say that you're leaders. For women that do this, and you say that you're followers, choose wisely. And I'm saying this towards me because the same word that cuts you all cuts me. So I'm not going to act as if that I'm above it all, because I also have my fair share of mistakes. Trust me. I'm not perfect. Nobody is. We are all works in progress. We are all works in progress, for real.
Coach, I've got a question to you, but from a learning point to just everyone who's out there. How did you feel during that whole conversation on the inside? Well, in fact, I'll leave it there. How did you feel? Because I'm looking at how you responded. So how did you feel?
This is going to sound mad, yeah. You know what? Because you didn't come like, blah, 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 it wasn't so, I didn't feel that bad. I just felt like you're not really listening. So I guess I didn't feel validated, right? Because it was about men's panel and it was about our feelings and thoughts. So I think I felt invalidated in that moment because Priscilla really validated us as men in terms of what some men are going through. So I felt a sense of validation. Because she was holding the laser, some of the women, and she specifically said about unhealthy people. I think I just felt like old girl just wasn't listening. And by her not listening, it kind of just made it feel like she disharmonized the conversation. We were no longer in harmony anymore. The panel were in unison, and we were holding men accountable before she got there. It's just that we took a conversation about Kai briefly, and that's when she jumped in. So it made me feel like we was all unified, and you've just broken the unity with how you feel about what you feel, and you've allowed your pain to overrupt really listening and hearing. So I guess I just didn't feel like she was actually listening. I didn't feel like we were being validated. And I felt like it was minimalizing what we go through as men. You know what I mean? I think that's how I felt like.
Also, Coach, can I also add to that? In that situation, I'm not in Priscilla's mind, and not in that woman's mind, but I would imagine what you just said there, the fact that you've been bold enough to be vulnerable. Some people like that will now will deflect what you just said, will deflect that. Basically, what if you had that same conversation? This is what probably she may say: I ain't your mama, I ain't a therapist. Like, listen. Like, I'm not here to like be paddy or kumbaya with you. She will use derogatory language basically to deprioritize how you, a man, are more just expressing yourself. But if the roles were reversed, and I hate doing the roles reverse thing, if you were to do what she did, she will more or less call you, you're disrespectful, you have no respect for women, da 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 da. No one, disrespect is ugly on both sides of the spectrum. So I also understand. I'm sure you kind of, like, when I was watching the dynamics, like there was a level of peace that was established. There was a you guys were in sync regarding what you were talking about, but she, at some points, the energy that she carried, even in her tone, as well as certain words that she was saying, when she talked about you believe in Jesus, like the energy, the vim that she came with that. And what I found very interesting as well was when it came to her now she tried to be balanced. Here's the thing. At one point, she started saying most people. Didn't say men, didn't say women. Funny how she wants to be balanced in that moment. Most people are this, most people are that. Well, you have to know that most people also includes men and women as well too. But when it came to wanting to talk about the men, it was hard for the men. But when it came to issues regarding women, because she had to stay on girl code, and that was her comfort zone, she didn't want to hold that, give even the time of day or energy to even hold accountability to some things that women do in that instance. It was funny, and is really telling of the fact that the more that she talked, her pain shone through, because she became very passive aggressive. And the whole entire time, you didn't feed into that energy. You were peaceful, you were calm, you even gave her points and you corrected at certain points. And she didn't like that, because it was going against the paradigm that she knows to be true to her, of what she believes is true to her. So
the reason why I asked that, just to kind of change the trajectory a bit, a lot of people suffer with anxiety, unknown or out there in the open. And being around someone who is like this, male or female, friend, family, or even that's your partner, it's going to trigger a lot. It's going to trigger a lot of things, right? And that person can end up responding even in the same way, especially if they take offense or not, responding in the same way. And someone who is like that doesn't have a limit. They're going to keep on going. Now, what's interesting is that, yeah, she realized she was doing too much, which is why she changed a bit, right? Started trying to go a different angle. The issue is when you've done so much, you either go back and say, do you know what, my bad, or you keep on going. And in the generation that we're in, so many people don't want to seem weak. So many people don't even want to seem like they contradict themselves. So many people don't want to concede in the face of their enemy. Right now, unfortunately, us as men were her enemy. And Priscilla as well, right? And this is kind of what we face. So then you're going to have people who will keep on going because it's the only thing they know to do in that moment. They will try to walk all over you, manipulate, steamroll you. They'll try to do everything. And the reason why I asked that question is because the best way to deal with that type of person is the way Kojo did. Stay calm, stay intelligent, stay wise. And you can see with just a few questions, she was hesitating. She was breaking down. Oh, she didn't know what to do, which means that she's used to doing this to people and getting away with it. Again, there are guys who do this too, but this is just an observation about human behavior, everyone. You know, it's not even about her specifically. Like I said, I didn't even hear the conversation like that. I just joined in, listened to a couple of minutes, and I'm like, what on earth is this? But this is a common thing that's out there, especially in today's climate. So as much as we're talking about this, also pay attention of how to deal with someone who is like this. Whether you know them or not, whether you meet them today and you will never see them again, it doesn't matter. Because one thing we need to pay attention to is how do we want to be? Especially this is online, right? So whatever we do, it stayed online forever. I'm not saying you start pretending or acting, but the question is going to be to us as men, who do you want to show up as? Who are you in that moment? Because the moment you fall and drop, and we understand the dynamic, right? Even though, yeah, we both, on both sides, we complain about some of the, what can I say? some of the benefits ladies get, some of the benefits men get. We complain about them on both sides somewhat, right? But even though we know if as a guy we was talking like this, it would come off much worse. And in fact, Kojo would probably be a lot more harsher, if I'm being honest with you, if it was a guy who was speaking like this to ladies on the panel, especially after the conversation everyone was happening. But either way, this is just a lesson for everyone who probably didn't believe these things happen or didn't even know what they was even walking into. This is simply how not to be, and also how to actually deal with a person who is like this. Because they don't want to hear what you have to say, to be honest with you. She made it clear she don't care. She just wants to breathe fire.
Yeah.
She just wants to breathe fire. That's it, point blank. Go ahead.
And even Kojo, I think. Oh, go on, Kojo.
Oh, no, go.
No, I think it's just that you like you embody something that I saw. It was, I think, Proverbs chapter 32. It's like, better a man that takes control of his temper than the one who takes control of his city. That was what you embodied. You just embodied keeping a calm, clear, level head, and you allowed her to talk herself rampant. So I think that's just like Jason said. It's a good indicator of what to do when it comes to just being in heated situations, and it's easier said than done. And it's a skill that a lot of people struggle to do, because the hardest thing to do is not allow your emotions to get the better of it. But when you have ownership of your emotions, which is what all we have to do, you find that you are able to see things a lot more clearly for what they are. So.
All right, last little section. This clip obviously has been going viral. I've spoken about my channel before, but it is a viral clip, and I want to see what you guys' perspective is on this clip.
I have been debating sharing this with the internet. I always said that I was never going to be the kind of influencer that only shares the good parts of my life. I've been able to build a platform because I'm authentic. It's really important for me to own my narrative instead of letting people assume and start rumors. Ending my engagement was the hardest thing I think I've ever had to do in my entire life. It's really not the breakup itself that's hard, but it's also having to like break up with the idea of the future that you planned and grieving that too. And at this big age, 31 years old, it feels like your clock is ticking faster and faster. I think that if sharing my story helps just one person, then it's worth it. I was trying so hard to make it work. Eventually, trying to make it work felt exhausting. It literally took me accepting the hard truth that I tried to ignore. Now, the moment I accepted that and said it out loud, I felt so much relief and honestly freedom. Not because I didn't care. I was finally listening to myself. Now I have to start over, rebuild myself, move out. It's scary. There's a lot of uncertainty, but that's also kind of the beauty in all of this. I get to start over. I am doing my best and I'm figuring it out one day at a time. So that's my truth. Love you. Bye.
I want to know your immediate thoughts. We don't have to agree. This is men's panel. We all have different thoughts and have different angles the way we see things. So we're not saying anyone's right or wrong. We're just having different conversations because we are having our own perspective. So I want to know what you guys' thoughts are in regard to this scenario and situation. If I add anything else in, just from this video, what's your perspective on this scenario? Jay's laughing. Jay's laughing. Jay's laughing. Jay, why are you laughing, bro?
I'm gonna have to quantify what I'm gonna say, right? But I'm gonna be direct first. From what we see online, and yes, there might be a couple of examples around the world. We don't follow or listen to everyone, especially in other countries, in other languages, right? It seems that it's mostly women who feel they can get away with putting some of these things out there, especially with no context. What's changed over the past couple of years is that men and women are now calling people out and saying, if you're not going to give proper context, don't say nothing at all. Or even if they give good context, they're calling out some people's BS. Now, can you hear me? Yeah, I'll go in a sec, right? So now, in saying all of that, when you take away the social media stuff, I know men who have done the same exact thing that she has done. Now, for me, I would rather someone end at this point than actually get married to someone that they are having a struggle relationship with. So based on this particular clip, this is my favorite clip that she's put out. The only reason because she's given context. That's it. Context to what a joint experience is between men and women. I know she's talking to women, fine. But as a man, I can say this is a joint context. This is a joint understanding. It doesn't matter that someone's put a ring in your finger or you put a ring in your finger. Oftentimes, a lot of people are doing it maybe out of guilt, maybe because they've been with a person for a long time, maybe family are getting onto them as Christians, sometimes because of the church. It doesn't mean you don't feel the way she felt. You don't mean that. But the backlash is because of the climate that we're in today. You had a man, I don't know if it was a good man or not, I don't follow to that point, but you had a man who put a ring on it and you just called it to start over. I understand why that's a backlash in today's day and age with all the conversations that we have. But do you know what? It goes back to a lot of people are, if anything, too afraid to make the same decision, if I'm being honest. If I'm being honest.
Yeah. Thing is, when I saw that, I'm like, at this point, I'm really not surprised, because that is like the type of content that you see nowadays that naturally, it's, some people will think it's like textbook rage bait. You know, they're gonna rage bait men seeing this, you know, the concept of I give my all to a woman and then afterwards leaves me high and dry. But personally, I think it's a good thing. Reason being is that I know that there are men, like Jason said, I know personally that there are men that are in relationships like this. I know that there are men who settle because that's what it is. That's what the lady did. She basically said it aloud. There are women who settle, who basically do mental gymnastics. Men do it too, where you do mental gymnastics, you basically stay in a relationship, right? Because maybe your friends or your family tell you need to do this. You're never going to find a man like this, when deep down inside, you know that's not the type of person that you want to be with. So basically, you go by what everyone else tells you to do. But you, like she rightly said, she didn't listen to herself, much like men do. It's a similar situation whereby, you know, it could also be a fact that you're not really attracted to the person that you're with. There are men, I even saw it 2 weeks ago. No, not 2 weeks ago, like a couple of days ago. A man outwardly said, men pick women that they know they don't like and they just settle with. And you think, imagine, I'm glad that she put it out there, because now, imagine if the guy was to get with her. Do you know the type of resentment potentially he'll have to deal with? Where the woman will feel like, oh, I didn't want to really be with you. I'm doing you a favor. Now the man can now find someone who will like him for him. Point blank period. So it's a win-win situation. Now the woman can generally find someone, if she's looking to be in a relationship in the future, she'll take time to actually look at what she needs to do to work on herself, and then find someone else who's complementary to the lifestyle she wants. So really and truly, I don't see the problem. Now, in this climate, I can understand, especially with red pill nowadays, will jump onto this as a talking point. You see, guys, this is the reason why you should be very careful, and you should be very careful with these women nowadays. And to some extent, they have somewhat of a bit of a point. However, it goes back to number one. I would also have to ask the man too, because it's both sides in this situation. Like, trying to make a relationship work where someone is having to do mental gymnastics to tell themselves, you know what, you don't need to be in a relationship where someone has to convince themselves to stay. If someone cannot naturally want to be with you, they are not the right person for you, either man or woman. And that's the way I see it.
Let me add this as well, right? I think a lot of us need to talk about where you actually look forward to being single. I'll even say it another way, where you don't even miss the life that you may or could have had with that particular person. This is the point where she's at. I mean, you can grieve a broken relationship because no one wants to have a broken relationship, fine, no problem. But what encourages you, look, she didn't mention God. She didn't mention God is going to take her through and nothing like that. What is encouraging her is the fact that now she's single. Now she gets to explore as this 31-year-old who probably a lot of guys are going to find attractive. You know, she's probably where she wants to be or needs to be in life, in business. She knows she's in the prime of her life, right? So she's looking forward to that. For someone on the other side, that can be painful. Ladies, 100%. Guys do it too, trust me. Sometimes it's not even you. Sometimes he is just where he is at the moment, at that moment in time. And there's nothing you could say or do that's going to make her turn his head towards back to you. Right. So just let him go. Just absolutely let him go. For me, I just feel like we've come to the point where we need to give context. Give context because people want to hear it, man. A lot of people are going through the same thing. Like I said, a lot of people, I guess you can say, get married because they want to do the right thing about actually accepting the situation that they're actually in. And the fact that if you continue, you're both gonna suffer. This is how I settle on it. It's regardless of this climate, regardless of even what she says, I'm happy that she did call it a day. You know, that's the way I see it. Just because what that could end up being is something, you know, that could have been a whole different story on social media. You know, if she continued, if they got married, if they had kids, I don't know if they do, I don't know the situation. So for me, yeah, I think normalize allowing people to walk away, even if you put a ring on it. It's okay, trust me. If they're not in it, it's fine. Leave them alone.
Yeah, I think if there is something to say, I think it's just also whether it's some man that does it, a woman that does it, just don't be wasting people's time. Because I think that's also a hard part of it. Don't be wasting people's time if you know you don't want to be with someone that clearly wants to be with you. And I can only speculate that this could be a dynamic where someone was loving someone more. It could be the man loving the woman more than she loves him. I don't know. That type of behavior, that type of energy, it can come out. And a woman may feel like, I feel he's doing all the right things, but I know deep down in my heart, I don't want to be with him. And it can come out in the type of energy that she shows. So now she can be truly honest and stuff. So I'll definitely say to man or woman, don't be wasting people's time. Because time is so precious. Don't waste it. Especially if you know deep down in your heart, you cannot be with someone. Because imagine you have, again, like Jason said, you have kids. And then that type of energy you will take onto your own family. So is what it is.
So last few minutes, I'm going to read a statement that she actually put out. If I can show you, actually, she well, it's not a statement she put out. Basically, she replied onto Forrester's video. So I'm going to play Forrester's video, and I'm going to put the statement up as you guys listen to the video of what Forrester said. I didn't agree with everything he said, but again, I'm going to put up what her statement was as well.
Initial reaction was, any woman that likes this is not a wife. And to be clear, I actually believe she's a strong content creator. I think she's thoughtful, articulate, and influential. But that's part of why this video stood out to me the way it did, because instead of reinforcing the best parts of her platform, it highlighted all the wrong things. And I think that's exactly why it received the blowback that it did. Whenever I make content, I always ask, what message will people walk away with after watching this? And I don't think that question was considered. I promise I'm not against someone choosing themselves, but when you say yes to marriage, you've made a verbal, spiritual, and an emotional commitment. Because obviously you were both showing each other qualities of a husband and a wife. So that leaves two possibilities. She either really woke up one day and said, nah, I'm good, which she claims isn't true, or issues existed the entire time. And she still said yes to the engagement anyway. And that raises a bigger question to me. How does a woman of God, surrounded by a God-centered tribe, not girl-centered, God-centered, see clear issues, yet believe getting engaged is a solution? Let's also not forget about the cultural narrative here as well, where all men cheat, men don't commit, good men don't exist. Yet in her own words, this man didn't cheat. He was a solid, committed man prepared to make her a wife. So the message unintentionally becomes, even if you find the rare man who is faithful, who is emotionally present and ready to commit, it's still not good enough for a woman who's prayed for a husband. And whether she likes it or not, the whole decenter men, good men don't exist, all men are trash, all men are gay, all those weird cults out there, like that crowd is already stitching this video and using it as ammunition. This could have been far more powerful if it showed what she actually prayed through, what God revealed, what she learned, and what she'll do differently so that she doesn't find herself in this position again. That, nor any of the follow-up videos express that. They simply express that they exist because she wants her narrative out there. Her words, not mine. That's where this starts to appear less integral and more influential. Less Christ-driven, more culture-driven. And that's why I got the blowback that it did.
Okay, so I'm going to show you the what she replied to his video, and she pretty much, let me just bring this on the screen, said these words. I'll read it out because it might be a little bit small for you guys to read it. So she said, she replied to his video, on his video, and she said, while I appreciate your take, there's a lot of assumptions being made that frankly are incorrect. I'm a content creator that chooses to post my life online, good, bad, and ugly. I keep it vague for a reason, because what kind of person would I be to bash another person online to explain why I left a person who isn't a content creator and doesn't have a platform to defend themselves? It'd be borderline bullying, so I shielded him from that. I said he didn't cheat or betray me. There's far other things that can cause destruction in a relationship outside of that. There was a video that was posted before the viral video that provided more context. There's a video after that that gives a little bit more into my thought process without telling all my business. There will be more that answers that question. What do I want people to take away from this? If I were married, the conversation would be very different. I wasn't married, I was engaged, which means I still have the ability to walk away if something feels off. You asked why did I accept the proposal? The things that became an issue did not reveal themselves into after the fact. Many lessons were learned and will be taken moving forward. But to answer the question, what do I want people to take away from this? You can leave if you're not happy, whether it's 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. If you've not made a marriage covenant with your spouse or God, you can walk away. Too many people stay in situations for the sake of time or not wanting to be alone. But I'll say this, it's taken so much faith in God to leave and jump off the cliff into something unknown. I could have stayed because I'm fearful, but that's not faith. He knows my heart's desire. Because I trust in him, I was able to make the decision and be obedient to what was placed on my heart. And now I just have to leave it in his hands, and I trust he will bless me when the time is right. She did go on to further clip on, say, because I think people were replying, and I think she said one more thing. Hold on. She said one more thing. She said, you don't need to know the reasoning, though. She was replying to somebody else, said, you don't need to know the reason, though. I didn't leave you. He knows I know. That's what matters. I post my life online because it's my job, and I'm as honest as I can be without telling my whole business. I share what I want to share on my platform, not telling the specific reasons why I left. Doesn't make me dishonest or inauthentic. I said we weren't aligned and I wasn't happy. That's reason enough. God bless. So I don't know if you want your final thoughts on this, guys, boys, on this. Yes, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm just going to say to any content creator, well, if you choose to put your personal business out there, also deal with the consequences that come along with it. Personally, I would say don't. If you're going to divorce again, don't. Wouldn't be putting my personal business out there like that, point blank period. Because again, people are going to have their takes no matter what. Because then it's going to lead to more questions. So the fact that she's saying, because some people, they like to speak in generalities and it leads up to speculation. So when she's saying she wasn't aligned, like people are not aligned, was she not aligned? Did she get into the relationship because she felt like she was afraid, she was fearful? What was going on? These are the type of questions that are going to be popping up. So I'll just say she's well within the rights to leave, but then she's also well within the rights to deal with the backlash and the responsibility that comes with what she chooses to put up there. So it's not to put her down, but just to be cognizant of what she chooses to put up.
So for me, I don't have an issue with someone leaving a situation that they feel does not, in fact, brings them more harm than good. I have no issue with that. I want you to do that. I think for me, where I want, especially ladies in the chat, is to think for a second and actually ask yourself this question. If it was a man who was saying these exact same things, would you be as empathetic or sympathetic? There's a lot of men who feel this same exact way. But we have our own issues as to why we don't walk away, right? We know oftentimes it's a catch-22 situation. We'll get the blame either way. And most of the times we don't come online and say anything. So when the lady says it, everything seems like it's all just the man's fault. You know, it can be a man's fault, but we know better when it comes to relationships. And there is no way she can go into a next relationship the exact same Naya. It's not going to happen. And that should tell you, all right, there's more going on here, except you're just hearing what she has to say, what her journey is, and her walking away. And that's the context here, right? It's just her journey. That's all she's talking about. This isn't an opportunity to say, oh, it's his fault, he's this and he's that. Trust me, if he came online and said his piece, he could easily say, I tried. Yeah, she did leave me because she left first. Do you get it? And I think this is where we make a mistake as a people, that we use situations like this to have the versus mentality instead of actually understanding both people may have felt the exact same way. Just because she walked away first doesn't mean that she's even any better than the man she walked away with, right?
Yep.
But yeah, exactly. If I was with a man who didn't want to be with me, I would hope he leaves it. You know, and I think that's the point I'm going to settle on, right? So many people feel the exact same way. Oh, and by the way, we didn't. Let's talk about our brother as well, right? The only bit, I mean, everything applies if it applies. The only bit I didn't agree with is saying just because she's said yes to an engagement, somehow she's tied in spiritually and all. No, no, no.
No, that's not how it works.
No,
That's not how it works.
no. Come on now, what is this?
Bruh.
No, that's the only bit I disagree with it. That's not how that goes. So at that point, what she's saying in the message is absolutely correct. That if she was going to walk away, this was the best time, because marriage is a completely different conversation. So that's the only bit I disagree with, and I think it's good to identify that, because we don't want people staying in situations as fiancés that is completely toxic for them. And I'm sure you all know people who have, to be honest with you. So yeah, that's all I'll say, bro.
Yeah, even to add, I think she did
Final
herself.
words.
Final words. I think if she had stayed, this would have turned into potentially, who knows? Look at the situation with Tia Mari, and Corey. She saved herself from that situation potentially, where when Tia Mari came out and then said, you know what, I've graduated from this marriage and no longer serves me. I've done all I have to do, but this guy's a great man. But in this situation, Naya is not even in a marriage, has chosen to, you know what, has recognized this is not the right fit for me. So she saved herself and the man a lot of heartache. Just want to say that.
Yeah, listen, boys, I appreciate this, man, and it's a good start to 2026. We're going to be here every Tuesday, kicking off at 8 p.m. I try and keep it to an hour next time. I think we'll just keep it nice and short and sharp and succinct. But yeah, no, this is good conversation. I think this is a great conversation to have, and I think with the Naya situation, I think I always say this: if you're going to come on the internet, you're going to speak about your relationship, I want to hear accountability. If I don't hear that, I want you to park the bus. Same thing with the men. You know what I mean? I want you to come up here. Don't come and tell me your story about how bad the other person was, and I never hear anything else about how you contributed towards that relationship. You know what I mean? Like what was in between that? Because I did go to research on her page, and she was basically, she's alluding to the fact that I don't think he was emotionally as a present as she needed him to be, right? There's like a video of her holding flowers, and she said, I don't have to ask for this, right? Fine. My question is, why were you there in the first place? What attracted you to a man? He didn't just suddenly start giving you flowers at the engagement, which means, so this is something else, because he said obviously now she started noticing these things at engagement, which means beforehand, we have to also be honest too. If we're going to read the fine print for the men, I have to read the fine print for the ladies too. the reason why you might have been there is because you wanted the marriage more than you actually wanted the man. So I have to read that fine print too. This is why I said that she should just come out when she's accountable and able to really tell the story, rather than giving us the concoction that breeds what I don't like when men do this, which breeds the gender war, right? It breeds the gender war because it misses out the context, and she's not a dumb person. When you curate the story this way, the ladies are going to back the ladies. Girl, you know, we have to, you know, you go, girl. We understand. You can change your mind at any minute, and she's right. You can. I agree with her. I'm happy that she saved my boy. I don't know if he's a good guy or not. I'm happy she saved the guy an issue if that's not what it's meant to be. But at the same time, if you're gonna come and tell a story, if you can't tell the story, then you have to be wise of how you tell it. And at a certain point, don't say certain things, because otherwise, now we're all speculating, and now we're in your business. It's the very thing you didn't want. You didn't want us to get on him, but we're still getting on you. And the one thing I definitely agree with Forrester was, she actually said in that video that the reason why she's doing the video is because she wants to take control of the narrative. I didn't even know there was a narrative, because we don't know who your man is. He's not on social media. So who are you talking about? This is exactly what we're talking about. Then you start to really look at it, it's even more diabolical. But we haven't got enough time to talk about it. Listen, we got to go. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an amazing conversation to have. I know you enjoyed that. The men got to have their perspective and you're enjoying it. Next week, it will be solely on the Landlord 91 channel. I know you guys enjoyed it on Little Black Book. This video will be muted and privatized on Little Black Book. Okay, so if you want to watch a replay, it will be on the Landlord 91 YouTube channel, which you can find on. I should have a link. I should have a link. I'll give you guys. I'll put it in the chat for you guys. Okay, so we will see you again for another amazing conversation next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. And we'll continue our glorious season. If you haven't already done so, follow us on TikTok. We'll be on there at 9:30 Thursdays as well, and Wednesdays as well. Okay, 8 p.m. So I appreciate you guys. We're out. Ciao. Bye. I gotta play my little clip before I get out of here, though. I gotta get a little clip and get out of here. Appreciate y'all.
You gotta go, and I don't care where you go, but it just can't be here.
Ta-ra. Bye-bye.